even. Let's see. Live from Dallas. Welcome to Morning Show Boot Camp and the first ever. Create something that was inspirational, that we could, mentor, find mentors, be a mentor. There's people that have been in business a few years. There's people that have been in, like me, almost 30. And we really wanted to do this. It really spawned. Thank you, Don and Marie from the Radio Fam. Several years ago, DeDe McGuire, when she was still in radio, she's still living in San Diego, but she started the Radio Sisterhood after moderating the women's panel. I know that they're getting a view of my rear. It is my best asset, but lame joke. But she started this, and then when she got the job in San Diego, she kind of bequeathed it to me. And I, from there, just curated a list. We have 150 women and more. I have their personal email addresses, and it's simply, I call it our unofficial support group. We share advice, job openings. I've had consultants come to me asking me, I need somebody like this. Do you know anybody? And people have gotten jobs. Allie was here from the United Stations, and she needed somebody, and she hired somebody from that just email chain. There's not a whole lot of interaction, but it's there when people need it, or if they need to reach out to somebody individually on the list, and it's confidential, and we've done salary surveys and things like that. But that was the genesis of this brunch here today. Again, I wanted it to be a mentorship meetup for anybody, any gender. You don't have to wear high heels. Thank you, Chris. So I am happy. Chris Evan is here with the lovely Angela Perelli, who's talking to I've asked Angela Perelli, I've asked Heather Cohen from the Vice Agency. DeDe McGuire, right here in Dallas. And Riley Couture, where's Riley? Riley podcast and House of W, and she's everything ties together. What I want to do is introduce DeDe first. DeDe McGuire, come on down, DeDe. DeDe's going to be roaming around. But my hope is that you get questions answered about strategically thinking about your career. I'm here because this is my first love. I'm super passionate about radio. I don't want it to be over. What else am I going to do? I learned that lesson. I was unemployed for 2 years and 7 months back at the start of 2016. And I didn't know who to go to for resume advice, or I had agents at the time. That's another story. Representation, and you are your brand, your calling card. There are people, that got their photographs taken here today, and I'm so happy to see everybody smiling and excited about it. Like, really branding yourself, your calling card, your reputation. That's what your brand is. And moving forward in your career with the best advice possible. And again, DeDe McGuire. And I remember running into somebody when I was unemployed. I was at least a year into my unemployment in St. Pete, Florida. And I ran into Mika Rotunda. She was in radio for a brief moment, but she comes from a big wrestling family. The Rotundas, I don't know. You follow wrestling.
Like Rotunda.
Yes. And so I ran into Mika, and I was probably a little bit of a Debbie Downer, and like, I don't know, I can't get a job. What's going on? And I'll never forget this. She said, people don't buy negativity. They buy enthusiasm. And I couldn't think of anybody more enthusiastic than DeDe McGuire to launch this first women's brunch. So everybody remember DeDe. So you got to clip this one on.
Oh, I got to clip this on?
Yeah, you got to clip it on.
I got a lot clipped on me.
I know.
Well, first of all, thank you guys very much. Clap it up for yourselves for being here. Hello! My goodness. Well, first of all, thank you so much. Thank you very, very much. I'm so honored to be here for the very first inaugural. This is And even before I continue, I'm gonna say this. You know, there is somebody who has been a champion of mine and all of ours for years, and it's because of him that I'm actually syndicated. Because I was here at the morning show boot camp. Can y'all just clap it up for Mr. Don Mann? I said it at the beginning because I'm gonna get to it. Really. At the panel, I talked about being here and that I was hosting the other day and being at Morning Show Boot Camp and actually being discovered by Compass Media. Just sitting on a panel and being who I am and myself. And they said, "You're who we want to syndicate you." And I was like, "What? Me? Wait, whoa." And then I tried to play the game. You better get in line. There's a lot of people trying. You gotta know how to play the game, everybody. That right there, you know what everything is called leverage. Just use it. But anyway, they asked me to talk about some pivotal moments. And so it was interesting because as I was sitting down, because I'm a procrastinator, as I was sitting down last night drinking my wine, and thinking, what am I going to talk about? I was like, what are some pivotal moments? And you know what really hit me? My whole career has been full of pivotal moments, but I'm going to start at the first thing, right? I started in Cohen, Fort Hood, Texas. That's like market, I don't know, 180 something. I have no idea. All I know is I started there. And then I went to San Antonio, then I went to Dallas. Oh, hold on a second. Let me put the timer on because I do radio.
Okay.
Let me just tell everybody something. I'm actually getting ready to try this. I'm going to try to, she said 5 minutes. Let me see if I can stick to it.
With question and answers after.
All right, then question. And then it's fine. But anyway, here's the deal. So I go from Cohen, San Antonio to Dallas, right? When I get the job in Dallas, I just want to tell you this pivotal moment. I get this job in Dallas. They hired me to do afternoon drive. I'd only been doing radio 2 years. I was like, wow, yeah, started at Cohen. And let me tell you, I looked at a big map. Do you guys remember the big Arbitron map? And it would show you, it would be like in red is the number one, or this yellow is the medium market. And I'm in this blue market, which is really large. It's going to be a really small market. And I said, I'm going to get to a top 10 market by the time I'm 25. It's going to happen, right? And so I ended up doing it. I actually got to Dallas at the time I was 23. I was like, oh, dang it, I hit my goal, right? I do afternoons for a while. About 2 years, I replaced a guy. Somehow I'm talking to somebody, they tell me this guy made $60,000 a year doing afternoons. And guess what they paid me? I think I was making like 24. Yeah. My first, I went, whoa. So guess what? I was like, okay, I signed a contract, didn't get out of it. So then I get a new program director. He comes in, he says, women sound better in the middays. So he moved me from afternoons to middays. There's another level of disrespect, right? You're like, wait a minute. So then I'm like, okay, so they say, let's negotiate your contract to do middays. We're going to give you $2,000 more to do middays. And I said, okay. And then I find out that was a lie. They were negotiating with somebody else. They were going to replace me. They weren't going to resign me. They were negotiating with the woman across the street, the great Hogan. So I said, wow, okay. Disrespect. And I thought to myself, here we go, pivotal moment. Somebody told me, and my mother really said, never stay where you're not respected or preferred. Mm-hmm. So I said, so how I did it was, my mother also didn't raise a fool. My mother told me, you never quit a job unless you got another job. Mm-hmm. So what I did was, well, they're disrespecting me in here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to call my very first radio station, Cohen, Fort Hood. I called the general manager, because this is another thing I've learned in this business. Try your best not to burn bridges. Mm-hmm. My mother told me the same people you see going up, you see it coming down too. So I'm like, I didn't burn bridges. I called him, I said, they're disrespecting me here. Can I come back home? And he said, yeah, will you be the program director? I was like, I don't know anything about it, but I'll do it. And I did it for 6 months. Pivotal moment, guys, ready? Here's the thing. I stayed here 6 months, and then I left and went to Chicago. Chicago paid me $60,000 to do their show, right? What? Mama said, you're doing good. And so here's the pivotal moment. Sometimes you have to take a step backwards, one step backwards to move 2 steps forward. It was a pivotal moment for me because here's the other part of that. It wasn't just about the money, it was about respect, right? And I also had a goal because once I got to Chicago, because remember my goal was to always be in I'm 25, now I'm back in Chicago, top 10. So I started listening to Tom Joyner, Doug Banks, they started getting syndicated. So then I said, I want to be on a syndicated show. So another goal. Then, after I started working with Doug Bates, I worked with him for about 10, 12 years or more. I worked with this man, and we get syndicated all over the country as well. And I work across the hall from the greatest, I think, in urban radio, Tom Joyner. And I'm working from him across the hall, and I'm watching everything he did. When we walked into the station together, I'm watching what kind of car he drove, how he dressed, what he did. I watched how he ended up taking ownership of his show. He ended up leaving. I mean, I'm watching all of this, taking notes, right? And then I said, I'm going to be like Tom. I want to do the same thing. And I thought, but also, how can I get somebody to respect me the same way they're respecting Tom Joyner, Doug Banks? I'm right here with them. Why can't I get the same respect? And then I thought about it too. Guess what? They had agents who went in and represented me. Get somebody to help represent me as well. So you get what I'm saying is that, and that pivotal moment for me was this. My mother always said, have goals. She used to always say that to me. Whenever you set a goal, set another one and another one and another. And she told me that when I first got to Dallas the first time, I was so excited that I achieved my goal before 25 that I just started coasting. And she said, you coasted and you didn't dream anymore. And she said, once you give up on your dreams, you die. You can always have a dream and a goal, right? So the pivotal moment for me was to continue to set goals and to continue to keep going. And so I'm going to just say this. I'll leave you guys with just a few little notes. Let me see. What am I doing in time, everybody? 4:54. Oh my gosh, my boss Sheila would be so excited.
Right?
Hey, listen, when you're a radio DJ in the morning, you only go 30 seconds over, you just had a win. Okay. Anyways, here it is. I'm going to just tell you guys to take away with some of these things, okay? And one of the things I've learned in all of the pivotal moments, and the thing about pivotal moments is recognizing when they hit and when they're pivotal. And the one thing I will say is this: just believe in you and your abilities, because that's what I did. When they told me, basically, we're going to replace you and this and that, I believed in my abilities. I knew that. I knew I was good. Always have a 5-year plan. I said to everybody, I go, what's your 5-year plan? What do you want to do? What do you want to, because when you have a 5-year plan, whether it's a year or two, when you have a plan and you have a destination, your moves become easier. If somebody told me, DeDe, I want you to get to New York, and I want you to drive to New York, and I want you to drive to New York. Look, Pebbles, good to see you. When you drive to New York, that's up to you how you get there. You'll figure out the steps, right? If they say, I want you to get there by next Saturday, you've got to figure out the steps. Now you have a destination. When you have a 5-year plan and you have a destination, your moves become easier. I knew I wanted to be syndicated. The reason why I took, and I wanted to have my own morning show, the reason why I took the co-host position at K104 in Dallas was because I knew one day the guy was going to be out. The main guy, the host of the show, was going to be out one day. And they were going to let me fill in for him. And I had filled in on the national show. So I knew that if I could fill in on a national show, I could fill in on a local show. And I could show them what I got. And I did, and then they gave the show to me. So again, having a plan will be easier. Moves will be easier. Some people said to me, why are you on a national show going back to work local? Because I had a plan. You don't have to always tell everybody what your plan is. You know the moves that you're making will get you to your end result. So just believe in your ability. Always have a 5-year plan. Know your worth. Set goals, which is the same as the 5-year plan. Push through barriers. Shake things up. Be your authentic self and try not to burn bridges. So, and that's it. And my last one is this, my favorite quote. Well-behaved women rarely make it.
All right.
Thank you so much. You're done. Unless anybody has a question. I mean, anybody have a question for DeDe?
No, good.
Okay. Okay. All right. I want to bring up Heather Cohen, VP at the Weiss Agency now. And Heather, I'm going to start with a quote from George Clooney, the illustrious George Clooney, because it made me think of you, because I remember I went to an interview. I asked this man what he was looking for in a talent. He goes, well, I want to hire a man. This was not that long ago. And I came down super frustrated because I thought my track record, my resume, everything would speak for itself. And I said to my agent, I said, I just thought they had to like me, right? And this George Clooney quote says he had to stop going to auditions thinking, gee, I hope they like me. I had to go in thinking I was the solution to their problem. And that made a difference to me in my head, you know what I mean? So you are the solution to a lot of people's problems because you have a direct link to other agents, but CEOs, hiring managers, executives, everything from Amazon AMP to the biggest corporations in radio. So I know that you're going to tell us what they're looking for because it's a mystery to many of us in the room.
Thank you
wanna
so
put
much.
this on?
Hello, streamers. I do not have a weird like you do. I have a tushy. It's not my best asset. I will not tell you what my best asset is. But this is my 18th boot camp. Don, thank you for all you do. Corey, Marie, thank you for putting this together for us. I have to tell you, 18 years, I am so deeply touched. I don't even want to cry again. I look at Angela and I start crying. What happened at the end of yesterday was the most meaningful panel I think I've ever been to in my life. And if you know me, you know I go to every panel and every conference. I don't have a choice, but that was so special. And you all touched me. Riley, I'm not looking at you.
Yeah.
So before we go into a few tips, I do, if you don't mind, please allow me just to talk briefly about AWM and the FOA. And you saw Angela Harris was here yesterday presenting Dana with her award, so deserved. MIW, most mentoring and inspiring women, rather. That is a beautiful organization. They have excellent programming. AWM, one of the loves of my life. I have to tell you, we have phenomenal programming. The Alliance for Women in Media, allwomeninmedia.org. We do the Gracie Allen Awards. It is we're going into our 72nd year. Imagine women and it's our 49th annual Gracie Awards. I see Gracie winners in the room. So please be aware, the call for entries for the Gracies is September. Call for Gracies is September. You must enter. Behind the scenes, in front of the microphone, you must enter. So allwomeninmedia.org. Also, Broadcasters Foundation of America. I am bringing that up. Tony Zaz is in the room. Several years ago, you called me and you said my production director has, at the time, stage 3 brain cancer, right? And I don't know what to do. And I said, Tony, call the Broadcasters Foundation of America. Many of you know what it is, not enough of you know what it is. If broadcasters, it doesn't matter if you're the board op, if you are the talent, if broadcasters fall on truly hard times. It could be a hurricane, it could be a heart attack, it could be cancer, anything devastating. The Broadcasters Foundation of America is here for every single one of you. So just know, Broadcasters Foundation of America.org. I'm happy to talk to you about any of these organizations. Mr. McVeigh is a Gracie's co-chair. He's happy to talk to you about the Gracies. But please just be aware that these organizations are here for you and people in your building. Okay, I will move on to a few tips, and thank you for allowing me that time.
Yes.
Okay, so what are managers looking for? It's really interesting. I'm very blessed that I do get to speak to so many managers in all different areas, whether it's radio, podcasting, streaming, whatever it is. Our worlds are evolving. We all have to reinvent ourselves. So, number one, you fit into the culture in the building. I have to tell you, at the very beginning of my conversations, is he or she a jerk? Because I don't want that. You know what? It's just too hard. I don't have enough time. I'm wearing 18 different hats these days. I need to deal with a nice person who happens to be wildly talented. I don't want drama. I don't want people arguing in the hallways. I just need a good human being who can do this and fit into our culture. That is so important. Be kind, and you are kind, but it means more than it ever did, honestly, since COVID. It's just like, it's not worth it. It really is not worth it. Again, you're easy to work with. You can take direction. I know it's tough. Sometimes we have 3 or 4 or 10 different cooks in the kitchen. It is so hard. Like, you don't know who to follow. Do I follow my talent coach? Do I follow my PD? Do I follow the head of programming? It is so hard. But in this environment right now, it is a scary environment. But those that will try. If you try and it doesn't work, they will pivot and they will find something else. Try to follow directions, even though it's difficult at times. But right now, that is so key and so important. Be great at social. I'm looking at Jessica. You're a monster. You're a monster at social. Also, the beginning of every conversation, how good is this person at social media? It really is that important. I don't want to do it. I actually don't have to do it, but I'm the only one in this room pretty much that doesn't have to do it. So you have to do it. You have to be great at it because that's how the station is making money. That's how the network is making money. You have to embrace it. I know it's painful. If you need help, get help. When I have clients that need help, I get them help. It is that important, and they are looking at it. They need your help. Digital is like the world right now. They need your help. Production skills. You know, Holly, you may be asked to put together a video just to get a client sold, right? It is, but that sells, that works. Be sure that you're compensated for doing that extra work and those videos. Put them in your contract. Make sure that the sales department is not taking advantage of you. That is absolutely key. Work that sales flow. Again, like I've been saying since I was a baby talk programmer, I've been doing it. I've had my talent do it. I've been an agent for 16 years now. Even though it's a little bit annoying, walk that sales floor. Get to know everyone. How was your son's birthday party? How was your kid's bar mitzvah? I don't care what it is. You talk to them. You bring chocolate. You schmooze. It could be painful. I know you would rather be doing prep. You should be doing prep. I get it. But ratings used to be king or queen. It is revenue these days. It truly is. So please walk that sales floor. And when I say walk the sales floor, I was with a New York market manager for lunch last Friday, and he's like, it shouldn't just be Wednesday, you know, when we have our sales meeting. Do it several days a week, even if it's for 10 minutes. And I know they're not always there, but be sure to find out when that sales meeting is, because that is absolutely the key way that you can get all of them. They're looking for diversity. I'm happy to say that. For many years, they were not necessarily looking for diversity everywhere. They are looking for diversity, so that is good. Own the community. You need to, know everything, what the foods are, where people go, where people hang out. When I was running a program, I was programming a station in New York, I had somebody on the team that never went anywhere. I mean, if you went to like a diner, you know, once every 3 months, it was a lot. That doesn't work. That just doesn't work. You need to know where everything is. And people need to stop you in the streets. So that's very important. And also, don't be too controversial. Now, if you're a conservative talk show host, that may be a different conversation. A sports host, that could be a different conversation. But for most of us, don't be too controversial. Do watch what you post on social media, please. Unfortunately, I have people fired over it. I've had people suspended over it. And I've certainly had friends and people that I know who were not hired because of something they posted, and frankly, maybe something they posted 6 months before or a year before because it lives there forever. So please be very, very diligent about that. Trends. Okay, so I am watching those streaming numbers go up. I'm watching those podcast numbers go up. Podcasting can be painful. Fully understand. I understand it, but you have to do it. You have to do it. Make sure you're protected. I know that's complicated. I'm happy to talk to anyone, just to give you some tips offline about that. But those digital numbers keep growing. The companies are making money from those numbers. So you should be making money. You've heard that these last few days. You should be making money from them as well. Quality of life. I am happy to say that, and I always use the word empathy, and I know a lot of us do. Zena, you're always talking about empathy. There's a lot of that empathy. Maybe not quite as much as we would want, but there is empathy. People do understand, hey, I need to see my aging parents in X. Can I please write into the contract that I can bring my contracts and I can broadcast from there 3 weeks or 5 weeks out of the winter? I'm getting more yeses than nos these days. And it's really wonderful that that's happening. Again, the push for video content, be prepared, editing, learn how to edit. If you don't know, have somebody on the team teach you. Mental health is definitely a trend. We can talk about it. We can be free. I mean, that was like such a therapy session for me yesterday. I can't tell you. But you don't really have to be afraid of that anymore. And the companies are supporting it in such a big way. So that is a wonderful, wonderful trend. I talked about this a little bit on DeDe's negotiation panel. Create a great PDF. I remember I sent Zaza, I think it was your PDF, a few years, well, more than a few years ago. I think it was the first aesthetically pleasing PDF that we ever created. And I sent it to Dennis Clark years ago. And Dennis is like, oh my God, I've never seen anything like this. This is unbelievable. and just make sure that you are representing yourself well that way. And if you can't create it yourself, because by the way, I can't create one, but I have people who can create one. Find somebody that can help you create one. There's an intern at the station that you can pay $200 to, and they will create it for you. And when I say a PDF, again, I mean your audio, a scoped show, a great air check, some video content that is crazy strong. If your social numbers are wonderful, you post your social numbers. If your social numbers are not wonderful, do not post your social numbers. And then, any picture, if there's a great picture with you and a celebrity. I know that we're going to talk about Angela, you're going to talk about resumes, correct? So just make sure to buy the resume. Everything is embedded within there. One-stop shopping, aesthetically pleasing. A program director doesn't always want to go to a website, but you just giving them, hey, one-stop shopping and made it easy for you. You can go back to it at any point. They actually love it. Those are my comments for today.
Okay. Any questions?
If there are any questions before, I'm probably BJ, you were incredible yesterday.
Yeah.
I just have to tell you that.
Yeah.
Angela Yee Day, New York. Everyone is invited. August 27th, Barclays. If anybody happens to be in New York, it is hours of amazing music and food and entertainment. Angela's sorry she can't be here today, but the mayor actually named a day after her. So Barclays, August 27th. Any questions?
Anyone? Okay.
Lovely. I also want to thank you, Heather. I want to thank the Weiss Agency for sponsoring today's first annual brunch. Making all this great food and the mimosas and the Bloody Marys available to all of us at no additional cost. I mean, it's amazing. The Radio Fam and Marie for sponsoring. Don Anthony's right-hand woman, if you didn't know. Okay, I'm at that age. I need my glasses to see any damn thing. Okay, and I wanted to introduce Angela next. So Angela, you want to come on down, Angela Perelli. And with Angela, the quote comes from Bryan Cranston. There was, I guess, something else that sustained me during my long, fun employment. Bryan Cranston, I don't know if it was a behind the actors studio type thing or whatever, but it was all about auditioning and jealousy and things like that. And he said, about 35, 40 years ago now, he said he learns he learned something that like changed the trajectory of his career. He said that you're not there to get a job in the audition or the interview. You're there to do a job. And again, I thought they just had to like me. You're on. When you're interviewing with a program director or whoever it is, an agent, you're on. You're doing your show. You have to be bigger than life. You have to be that personality. So Angela's going to kind of go over some of that, like who you need to be and what you think is a necessity. Here, you want to take this and flip it on? No, I know. It's a little heavy, clunky, but there you go.
Does that work?
Okay, yes. Thank you, Angela Perelli.
I got in trouble yesterday for my poor mic technique.
Yeah.
And also promise not to make anybody cry.
Okay.
So sorry. Oh, maybe I will. But first of all, Corey, thank you so much for everything that you do for this business and this group. It's amazing.
I love it. That's why. Thank you.
Heather, I want to get involved with those organizations, and I do have an announcement from MIW, which is Mentoring Inspiring Women, that they have just started. Also, first of all, sponsored by Mike McVeigh Media, their first ever dedicated exclusive mentorship program solely for women on the air called Behind the Mic. Qualifications for this mentorship: have you been in an on-air position for at least 3 years in a local or national program and currently on the air? Have you demonstrated a desire to grow in your on-air career, have an idea of what goals you'd like to achieve, and willing to dedicate roughly 2 to 4 hours a month to the program? So opening applications broadly August 28th, but sharing at Morning Show Boot Camp early. We've got first dibs, and the deadline is September 24th. I mean, it sure sounds like something you may as well try for. And what I'm going to start mentoring there too, and what I understand is that they help you with everything. Like literally just getting involved with them, but if you need, like Heather was saying, if you need social media help, they will put you with somebody else. If you need this help, so it seems like a really good thing. Sorry. So you wanted me to talk about resumes?
Yes.
I'll just talk
What?
about whatever, but I
Yeah.
do want to say that PDF is a great, I think I saw Tony's PDF. You sent it to me at one point. Wow, that is really great. I do like websites though. If you have a website, it's just like an on-air business card. It's like online business card. So somebody can find you. I wanted to say what not to do. You know, a lot of applying for a job is just don't make mistakes, right? Like you can do great, or the best place to start is just eliminate the things that are real turnoffs or things that will get you thrown in the trash before you even get a shot. And I will say, I was a program director. I can't tell you how many letters I got back then that came in the mail. Dear Mr. Perelli, I'm interested in the on-air position because there were no women program directors. Like, trash. Like I don't even know. So do your homework, right? Know their name, know their job title, know what they do. Listen to the station. I'll tell you the most impactful package that I got was handwritten, dropped off at the station. Angela, I love Star 98.7. It's my favorite station. I listen to it whenever I'm in LA. I would love to be part of your on-air staff. Lisa Fox ended up partnering with Ryan Seacrest. She's still on the air in LA. She'd come down to the Bay Area. It was a phenomenal, cheery note, full of her personality, and I was impressed with her right away, and we're still good friends. But there was another woman who used a gimmick and sent me a dozen cupcakes with stars on them saying, I'll be your next star. I was like, you are annoying. So I think you have to know your audience. You know, they were cupcakes from my favorite bakery, and I love them. And she had done the research. Although Chris said this morning, like, well, now you're a star. So you know the packages too. I've heard audio where the first break is inappropriate, like maybe it's about the bathroom jokes or something like that. You want to lead with your audio with the most mass appeal, friendly, upbeat, on brand for you, but don't be edgy in your tape. Like, why would you ever be edgy in your tape unless you were like, I'm the edgy person, so I'm gonna, you know, like Jamie White, who was very edgy, would have put that right up front because that was her character, that was her brand. So know your brand and know the station brand. The other thing I noticed is that a lot of packages don't have anything to do with the station. It's here's me talking about my party, and then the next break is here's me talking about my boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever. The program directors, I think, want to know that you can sell their promotions and talk about the station in a real, authentic, conversational way. And so if you can include something where you're doing a station-related anything and demonstrate that you are there as an ambassador for the station, I think that, I mean, for me, I was like, can you do a liner? I mean, I know it sounds dumb, but like I want to know that you can do that too. That is part of the job. Yeah, dear sir, madam, please don't do that. The other thing I would say is if you do get an interview, is to follow up, obviously with the thank you, but if you can, either in that note or maybe a week later, say, I was thinking more about what we talked about. I know you like hockey. I came across this article I thought it made me think of you. Here you go. So just something that gives the employer some, like I saw this article on whatever it is. I don't even know because it would be different no matter who you talk to, but it shows that you were listening to them too. And so that's a really good tip. But what I really want to say, I think, as I'm listening to you guys, is the best thing for you to do is know yourself. We talked a little bit about this yesterday, but that was a much deeper level. But if you can have the self-awareness to know who you are as a personality and what your brand is, what your values are, what you care about, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, you will be a more well-rounded character on the air. You know, Dennis talks about role definition, character definition, but it starts with who you are. Like we've talked about this. Your on-air personality is based on you, so you have to have a really good sense of who you are and maturity about that. Self-awareness. Not everybody has that self-awareness, and I would love to see that more on your social media, on your personal page. If I'm looking at you to hire you, I want to see a well-rounded person on that page. Kramer had a really great way that he talked about his character. He said, I am a germaphobe. I have high anxiety. I married out of my league. And I love animals. And I said, and you're a girly man, because he always, on his posts, he talked about bubble baths and The Bachelor. So you look at his post, and there's a picture of him with his dog. The next one is there's a picture of him with his wife. The next one is that there he is, anxious about something. And then the next one is him in the bath, ask me anything, I'm in the bubble bath for the next 20 minutes or whatever. And so you get a really clear snapshot over the course of looking through someone's page of who they are and what they do. It's not, and there's a room full of women. I can say, you want to look pretty, you want to post the pretty shots, but like, that's great. You're beautiful. I love that. Radio, you're more visual than ever. And who are you? What are you going to talk about? What are your opinions? What do you care about? What are you going to, once or twice a year, get mad about on the air? You're not going to do it every day, but you care about something and some shit happens and you're mad. You're going to take a stand on that. What is that for you? Is it gay rights? Is it, I don't even know. Whatever. Pick something so that you have a passion. You're a person. And so that's what. Know yourself, develop your brand. If you need help with branding, that's what I do. I help people figure out who they are, what they care about, what their values are. Really, really important, and it will help people understand you and hire you. So, any questions?
Any questions? Okay. Oh, Dan.
Oh, wait, hold on.
I didn't even hear it. I didn't hear it. Don, what? Take two. Say it again. Oh, cheers, guys. Woo! The wedding anniversary. Okay, great. Mike, thank you. All right. I got to figure out which end it is. And again, our next presenter, Riley Couture. Come on down, Riley.
Also a sponsor of our first brunch here, Riley Couture. House of W is her own brand. Riley is amazing. She has her Really Riley podcast. She was a nationally syndicated co-host, obviously, on the Kane Show, and then after that, what was it called?
Your morning show.
Your Morning Show. And now, you know what? She's on the loose, and somebody is going to get really, really lucky. Now, I've talked to Riley on a personal level, and it's that transition is never easy, but it's show business. It's show business. It's just one job. You're just getting ready for the next big thing. And we talked about negativity. Remember that other quote? I'm like, you got to stay positive because nobody wants to hear about your ex anything, right? You wear them down. And I remember posting this honestly years ago on my Facebook because people were complaining a lot. Nobody wants to listen to it, right? The only thing complaining does is convince other people that you are not in control. And one of the ways that Riley took control was with her business, the House of W, Manifestation Candles. She's led little mini camps on how to create a vision board. And she's been a pretty big success in that. I'm super impressed by you. And again, she brought journals for everybody and a giveaway and hauled that all the way from DC. So Fredericksburg, Virginia.
Maryland, yeah.
Oh, Maryland. Yeah, I don't know. Geography.
Close enough.
All right, so you're going to put that mic on and you are going to take over. And she's going to lead us in what that means. I mean, the reason why I even got interested or I asked Riley to be a part of this is because I took Angela up on some of her personal consulting, or we had a little conference Zoom, and she said, make a vision board. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll figure that out. I'll figure out how to do that. But I'm like, oh my God, right here in my back pocket is Riley, and she's been doing just that. So take it away, my lady.
Corey, I told you a couple of times that you're like my damn genie. She's been such an amazing woman to me in the last couple of months. Just very inspirational, and it's because of you that I'm here. So really, thank you, Dawn. Thank you for putting this on every single year.
Talk loud again. It doesn't amplify, so.
It's literally been such a source of inspiration for me over the years, and I wouldn't have missed it for the world. So thank you for always having this.
Yes.
When I was asked to do this manifestation visualization little mini seminar, I was like, fuck, I gotta do this in front of a bunch of cynical radio folks. And I can say that because I'm one of them. I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be bad. But I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go up there and be me, and I'm gonna speak from the heart, because this whole manifestation visualization thing literally changed my life. And it all started with just being grateful. So I wanted to give a few things that I'm grateful for when it started. I'm going to fucking cry, so just get over it. I am grateful for my husband. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my voice. I'm grateful for all the men that showed up today. Because that's really blah, blah, blah. I'm really grateful. I'm grateful to be here. There was one very big moment that I was grateful for was to see that woman right there again. My friend Kennedy, to me, she's not Carson and Kennedy or whatever. She's just a friend. And she was the very first person to ever give me the secret 15 years ago when I was going through a bunch of bullshit and crying over some stupid dude, and I didn't open it. I was grateful you gave it to me, but I was like, what the fuck is this? So about 15 years later, I was like, okay, I was in a really bad spot in life, and I was like, something's got to change. I can't be this way anymore. So I decided to start making vision boards, and that was in 2017. And I shit you not, everything about me just started switching. Everything started opening up. I met my husband. I had the baby after I had a miscarriage. Everything started changing. So cynical or not, just take all the things I'm about to say with an open heart. After I'm done with this, I have goodies for you that I made with my own two little hands. Exercises, basically, that I put into my everyday life just to keep going with the positivity no matter what happens. Because you guys choose your happy. You choose your life. You choose your fate. You choose what you want for you. No program director, no listener, no ratings, no station, no nothing does that for you. You do. Period. Okay, so talking about being grateful, I like to give examples about it. Like I have my little 7-year-old son who's the greatest little thing ever, and he's the thing that made me. And I have a lot of listeners that love him and have watched our journey, so they like to send him really expensive presents, which is great, but he gets bratty. And I always have to tell him, Lyric, you know, you're not going to get another thing if you can't be grateful for this one thing you have. I'm not going to do it. But then we as adults, we can teach the kids that, but then we forget that for ourselves. And being grateful has to go before you get the thing you want next. And I always say, like, if you want to manifest something to happen, you have to think about all the little things that you have in your life to be grateful for. You know, like, I'm on the fucking beach from having my dream job. Like, and I could have just pouted and not come and been like, I don't want to do that. Like, no. I am grateful for the ability that I can still hold this microphone. I'm grateful for the ability that I'm not like one of those actors that's had their whole life in front of America and then their health goes and they can't physically do what their job was. I'm grateful to be standing in front of you. I'm grateful that y'all aren't like laughing and looking at me like, what the fuck is this girl talking about?
No.
I'm grateful you seem interested in it because it's the greatest gift that I've ever had.
Yes.
You guys have to remember that sometimes the universe knows you better than you do. Thoughts become things. What you think about, you bring about. So say you're going out for a job, right? And you're sitting there saying, you know, I'm probably not going to get it. Well, guess what? You're fucking not. Like, you literally have to think about your life as if it's just yours. What you want that thing, it's already yours. Believe it. The biggest point in my career to date was getting the Kane show. He was my mentor. He was everything I ever wanted to be in radio, and say what you will about it now. But when I was going out for that job, I was like, this is it. I am it. That's it. And I would send prep in every single day. Every single day I would listen to the show. As I was listening to the show, in my head, I would act as if I was on the show. Like I was already sitting in that chair. Because for me, it wasn't an if, it was when. Damn it, it was when.
Yes,
and I got that job, obviously. And here's the other thing that I took with me from all of that situation, and this is from you, Don. After I talked to you after I got fired, you said to me, Riley, you got to realize, you can't be sad about losing that, because you did that. And nobody can ever take that from you. Nobody can ever take that from me. Why? Because it was manifested for me. And you know what? I know that when it happens for you, it's supposed to. It'll happen for you when it's supposed to happen. What's for you is for you. And this is the other thing I like to talk about as I reference my kids all the time. I have a toddler too. The universe does not like it when you are pushy. She is a strong, fierce entity. And she don't like that toddler syndrome. Mom. Because when my kids go, what? Am I wanting to give him the toy that he wanted? No. You have to be patient and realize that it's going to happen. Ask, believe, receive. Set it and forget it. But I actually take that back. It's not set it and forget it. It's visualize it. Don't ask again. Know that it's going to be for yours, but you can't just sit there and dream about it. You have to go forth and do things for it. Like when I went out for the cane show and I was like, okay, I know it's going to happen, but I'm going to do these things along the way to make sure that it's going to happen. It's like, for me, I was a little afraid to tell the story of the cane show being like, but I don't have that anymore. Like, am I that person anymore? But my biggest goal in life since I got that internship and worked at FLD and worked at different states and cities in the radio, I used to always tell any intern I ever had, I would tell any friend I ever had, I was like, I want to change somebody's life the way that cane changed mine. And I didn't know if that was true anymore. I told you I was gonna cry, sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
But even here at this boot camp, the very first day I was here, somebody came up to me, ma'am, and said, Riley, your vulnerability and your openness and your just putting it all out there has given me such courage to be the same way on the air and be different. And if that's not the universe bopping me over the head with her fucking microphone, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm asking you guys just to ask, believe, receive, and really just invest in yourself and you're happy and in your heart, because the universe hears you. And when you know that it's for you, none of the fucking rest of it matters. None of the rest of it matters. You choose you're happy and you go forth with that. I had all these fucking notes and I'm like, okay. I'm just kind of speaking from my heart because this is really something that I've tried very hard to implement in my everyday. Like I said at the panel when I blubbered all over you guys again, that I have struggled with all this anxiety, depression, whatever, but I always know that like when I implement all of these things that I have learned and seen come to life, my life starts changing. So I wanted to give you guys a couple of like really good exercises so it's not just me crying on you, it's actual things you can take home. Manifesting money. This is actually one of the things that I got from the Secret series that I was like, this is pure bullshit and it's just not gonna work. It was using what was called the check of the universe when I was doing my very first vision board. So you print it up and you put a number, any number that you want. It's supposed to be this big, great number that you think you'll never get. At the time, I was in debt. I was a single mom. The Maryland taxes were crazy, and I was like $30,000 in debt. I was drowning, and I put $28,000 on this check because I was just like, I just want to be enough to be okay for me and my kid. I was, just wanted to just be fine. Well, it took a year, but then a year later, a grandmother that I hadn't seen since I was 2 nor spoke to left me an inheritance of $27,000.
Wow.
I was just like, what the hell? There is no way. And the thing that was even crazier is that was money that my father that I never spoke to left for her and actually tried legally to have me not have it. He legally tried to have it implemented that she couldn't give it to me. So it was the most miraculous real life thing. And I was like, what the fuck? Okay. So that's probably real good for contract negotiations if you're in one of those. What could it hurt, right? If it's placebo, then why not? And most of you guys that know me in here to my core, Kennedy, I'm not a bullshit person. I don't say things just to say that.
Yeah. What?
I mean, my podcast is called Really Riley for that reason. So I'm not up here just saying a bunch of crap to seem cute. I made you guys some little journals over there. There's one for everybody because this is a really good practice that I put in my everyday. And I call it my manifestation workout because, I'm a fitness influencer as well, and it really helps. Because if you don't go do those squats in the gym, your ass is going to get flabby. And I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but whatever. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
And you have to work at it every day. You have to, you don't use it, you lose it. So in this journal, every night, I want you to write down 3 things that you are grateful for that happened to you that day. I don't care if it was your coffee wasn't ruined by the Starbucks person. I don't care if it was your gym crush complimented your form. I don't care if it was like, holy shit, Vanderpump Rules is coming back, because that was one of mine. I'm not even
Great show, by the way.
Yes! Sandoval was The T. Yes, ma'am. But here's the thing I want you to go a step further for, because it's easy to be like, oh yeah, I'm grateful for that. I want you to write down why you're grateful for it. For example, I write, I'm really happy that my son Lyric is good at soccer. But why am I happy for it? Because it gives him discipline. Because I see his drive. I see him try. And I feel like it's going to push him into things when he's older. And I can threaten to take it away from him when he wants to be naughty and be grounded. But I want you to also write down things that aren't yours yet. I want you to write down things that you want to happen and you're not sure that they're going to. And in your head, when you write them down, I want you to believe that they are already yours. Because I wrote down everything I wanted about my husband in those journals, and I shit you not, everything was there. I read it to him on our wedding day, and it was like, the hell? Like, down to his tattoos. Be specific about what you want. Be intentional about what you want. It's your life. It might be embarrassing. This is embarrassing as shit, because I know some of you are in your head going, what? But I don't care. It's for you and nobody else. So that's why I created those little journals for you guys. They have little radios on them. They're personalized.
Yes, awesome.
I made them in my basement until 3 o'clock in the morning. And my husband said, babe, right? You know, why you going there? Yeah. My husband said to me, he's like, babe, you're nuts. You're like a psycho. And I'm like, you know, how you do one thing is how you do everything, or at least for me. And I was like, I am putting all of my love and intention into those for you guys. So you're damn right I'm going to be up till 3 o'clock in the morning doing it. So I hope you love them. I also, guys, brought you crystals, Heather. I told you you had to wait till today.
Yeah.
I picked 3 different ones because they're 3 of my favorites, and I felt like, what's going to appeal to these radio folk? So I brought you green aventurine. So green aventurine is the crystal of form of healing, known as the stone of opportunity, balances emotions, settles nausea, dissolves negative emotions and thoughts, and green is the color of the heart chakra. That was one of my first favorites. And everybody gets one, don't take 2. I didn't bring enough for more than that. Labradite, it's a gray flash crystal. It's one of my favorite as of recently. Labradite is the stone of transformation and magic. Yes, I said magic. It's the stone when you're down and your energy is drained. It's an amulet against negativity and gives you a realistic view on life. It strengthens intuition, reduces anxiety, and gives you confidence and perseverance. It stimulates imagination, creativity, and helps develop ideas. And last but not least, this is one of my favorites because it's my son's birthstone, amethyst. It's the purple stone. It's a stone of spirituality and contentment. It calms and soothes the mind, and it helps you gently release attachments to old thoughts, behaviors, or personal situations that no longer serve you. I heard you, Corey.
Yes, ma'am.
A symbol of personal strength and inner empowerment. And last but not least, I wanted to teach you guys about the 3 thank yous. A lot of times on my podcast, when I'm saying thank you to someone, I'll say thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll say it 3 times. And I'm not just repeating myself, because the number 3 is the formula for new creation in the universe. And saying it 3 times solidifies the gratitude intention. So with those journals, I want you to do that at night. And then also, before you go to bed at night, you take that crystal and you hold it in your hand and you think of the greatest thing that happened to you that day. I don't care if you had a shitty day. I don't care if you didn't hit every single red light on the way to work. That can be it too, because the idea between this is that you think of that best thing that happened to you all day. And that's what's on your brain when you go to sleep. So when you wake up, you have a positive emotion. And before your feet hit the floor, you say thank you, thank you, thank you for something good that hasn't happened that you want to happen that day. Because for me, sometimes that was the only thing that got me out of bed.
Yeah.
So for you guys and everybody in this room, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Lovely.
I'm sorry. I know. You're fine.
There you go.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, I want to thank our sponsors, House of W, Riley Couture,
I want to thank Heather Cohen, the White Agency. I want to thank Don Anthony. Don, do you want to come up here real quick? You want to come up here real quick?
Come on. Come on.
It's not possible.
That's what I said. That's too much. I've got a lot of phrases, but I've been very, very remiss in not passing some praise back to people that really helped me this year in putting this thing on. Of course, our amazing staff.
Yeah.
Kira,
Hannah.
and, Danny, and also where am I at? Joe.
Joe.
They helped us put on a great show.
Marie.
I believe that. Did I miss anyone?
I think
Okay.
Marie.
Marie!
Yeah, Marie.
Nobody.
I just want to say, look,
Nobody.
I've been
Art.
very Art. I've been very fortunate. If you don't believe Art helped, just ask.
Yeah.
So, I've been very fortunate in being able to take this boat this far, but I believe that the people that can help you take it in the future. Well, let me back up. I made a lot of good decisions and bad decisions. I think one of the best decisions I ever made was aligning myself with movie. And by the way, I apologize for mistakes.
Dana.
In LA, who came to another event and she's been with us ever since. So thank you for.
Can I just say one thing, that a lot of the times the jobs that I get in radio are because of morning show boot camp or talk show boot camp.
Yes.
And also, I'd be an idiot without congratulating this lovely lady, Corey Dillon, who joined with Marie in putting this event on.
Yeah.
Enjoy it while you can. This thing's going to be 3 times the size next year. Congratulations, Marie.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I'm gonna have my first mimosa, and you know what? Just go forward, be great, do great radio, and thank you so much for coming. What are we doing? Am I about to read now? Okay, random. Is this for Riley's thing?
We have a few other things to
Oh, okay. So,
fun prizes.
oh, I was like, there's no name or anything. Okay. I haven't played bingo in a long time.
The on-air LED light.
The on-air LED light 373087.
Oh my God!
Which, by the way, Marie she sells a bunch of stuff on the Radio Fan page, including the LED on-air light. What is this?
This is a fun little one.
Oh, socks. Betsy Johnson radio theme cassette tapes. If you don't know what that is, I was born in the 1900s. Unlike some of you. No, anyway. 373085. Must be present to win. Anyway. All right. Riley, do you want to pick the winner for your thing too? Come on. A little pink little purse. I mean, your friends will be so jealous at lunchtime. Okay, let's see. 373112.
Oh man!
I give it to you.
Okay, Riley, come on down. She's got a whole basket here. She does candles. She sent me a lovely candle as a thank you.
With my own 2 little hands, and I was cursing the whole way through because I was intricate as hell. 373094.
All right, you guys, safe travels. Thank you so much. I think this has been the best boot camp ever, if I may say. And I'm so grateful for every one of you and the kind faces, everybody that showed up. I mean, I'm inspired every year I come, job or no job, and I've made the greatest connections and the greatest friends of my life. It is camp. for me. It's radio camp. I love it so much, and I love you people. Have a great day. Safe travels, and we'll see you next year.